Good afternoon, boys and girls. I hope that all of you are finding some time to read while we're out of school. Reading is really the best thing that you can do to keep your mind sharp and keep your brain thinking and to just keep on working on your reading skills and your comprehension skills. But another thing I hope you're doing also to help pass the time is writing. It can be fun to write your own stories and maybe even illustrate those stories. So I'm going to read you a book today about just that. This book is called Arthur Writes a Story. And I know a lot of people know Arthur from the PBS cartoons, but he was in a book first. And a lot of people think he is a mouse or a rat, but he's not. He's an aardvark. Arthur is an aardvark. So Arthur Writes a Story by Mark Brown. Arthur's teacher, Mr. Ratburn, explained the homework. And the assignment was write a story. Have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Use details and be creative. What should the story be about? Arthur asked. Anything, Mr. Ratburn said. Write about something that is important to you. Arthur started his story the minute he got home. He knew exactly what he wanted to write about. And this is what he wrote. How I got my puppy pal. I always wanted a dog, but first I had to prove I was responsible. So I started Arthur's pet business. My mom made me keep all the animals in the basement. It was a lot of work, but it was fun until I thought I lost Perky. But then I found her, and she had 3 puppies, and I got to keep one of them. That's how I got my dog, Pal. The end. And he drew a picture about it. Arthur read his story to his sister, D.W. That's a boring story, D.W. said. Does it have to be real life? Because your life is so dull. I don't want to write a boring story, said Arthur. If it were me, D.W. suggested, I'd make the story about getting an elephant. The next day, Arthur read his new story to Buster. Did you like the part about the elephant puppies? He asked. It's okay, I guess, said Buster. I'm writing a cool story about outer space. Maybe my story should take place on the moon, thought Arthur. On Wednesday, Arthur read his newest story to Brain. Scientifically speaking, elephants would weigh less on the moon, but wouldn't float that high, said the Brain. So you don't like it? Asked Arthur. A good story should be well researched, said the Brain, like mine. If I had a pet stegosaurus in the Jurassic period. Arthur hurried to the library. What are all those books for? Asked Francine. Research, said Arthur. I'm writing about my pet 5-toed mammal of the genus Loxodonta. Your what? Asked Francine. My elephant, Arthur explained. Oh, said Francine. I'm putting jokes in my story. All through dinner, Arthur worried about his story. Please pass the corn, asked Father. Corn, that's it, said Arthur. Purple corn and blue elephants on planet Smellephant. Now that's funny. Arthur is acting weirder than usual, said DW. On Thursday, everyone at the Sugar Bowl was talking about their stories. Last year, a kid wrote a country western song for her story, said Prunella, and she got an A+. How do you know? Asked Arthur. That kid was me, explained Prunella. Mr. Ratburn said I should send it to a record company. It was that good. Wow, said Arthur. That night, Arthur's imagination went wild. He decided to turn his story into a song. He even made up a dance to go with it. Later, he tried it out on his family. Now, this little boy can go home and enjoy his own personal striped elephant, and you will see how happy he will be here on planet Smellephant. Well, said Arthur, what do you think? They don't look too excited, do they? Mother and father smiled. It's nice, said Grandma Thora, but a little confusing. Too bad you can't dance, said DW. What am I going to do, said Arthur. My story is due tomorrow. That night, Arthur didn't sleep very well. The next day, Arthur worried until Mr. Ratburn finally called on him. When Arthur's song and dance was over, the classroom was so quiet it was almost spooky. Binky raised his hand. Did that really happen? Sort of, said Arthur. It started as the story of how I got my dog. I'd like to hear that story, said Mr. Ratburn. The title was How I Got My Puppy Pal, said Arthur. Arthur told how proud he was of his pet business and how scared he was when Perky disappeared. And he told how happy he was to find her under his bed and how surprised he was to see her 3 puppies. And the best part is, said Arthur, I got to keep one. Buster said, I like that story better than your other one. Great story, said Binky. I think Arthur's story was the best, said Francine. Good work, said Mr. Ratburn. Of course, I expect you to write it all down by Monday. Then Mr. Ratburn gave Arthur a gold sticker. Oh, and one more thing, he said. Leave out the dancing. The end. So if you were sitting in front of me right now, I would ask you what you could learn from this book. And I know some of you would tell me that you should write what you feel like writing about things that mean something to you, not about things that you think other people are writing about. So I hope you do 2 things after listening to this book. First of all, I hope you write your own story about something that's important to you. And secondly, I want you to take the AR quiz. And this book is a level 2.6. And the quiz number is 16974. 16974 is the quiz number for Arthur Writes a Story. Now, kindergartners, since this is a level 2.6, you might need some help reading this quiz when you take it. And kindergarten parents, if any of you are listening right now, You may have noticed when you log on to AR and you search for a book and it comes up on the screen. For some of the books, you see a little icon. It looks like headphones. And what that means is that there's a recorded voice for that quiz if it has those headphones by the title. So if you have some headphones or earphones for your child to use, he or she can plug them into their computer, and the questions and answers will be read to them, and they can take the quiz that way on the books if they can't read all the words for. So, and of course, parents, you can help your child with words they don't know and things like that. Just let them come up with the answers by themselves. And because we want to know how much they remember from the book or how much they comprehended, because we're looking for 85% comprehension or accuracy after they take the quiz. So I hope you enjoyed Arthur Writes a Story, and I'll see you next time on Story Time with Mrs. Vannekamp. Have a great day. Bye-bye, everybody.